Hi everybody, Jo here. So you know what that means. Grab yourself a brew, a cheeky biscuit, or if you're being good, just a brew. And I thought we'd have a bit of a crafty play. So today we're going to be using some stamps and stencils from All and Create. And the reason I'm popping by with this little catch-up is this is the card I'm going to make, or the design. Obviously it could go on a canvas, it can just be go in a picture frame, it can be in a scrapbook, a journal. You know, you can take inspiration and go with it where you will. The idea is that we just have some fun, craft together, and let's see if we can get those mojos going, because I believe Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday and a few people need him back. Now, the reason I've gone for this particular design is one of our lovely crafty friends emailed me. And by the way, I always love it when you email. I read them all, and those that ask questions, I do try and answer them. So I got this lovely email from one of our crafty friends to say, could I use this stamp set from All and Create? And it's number 204, Planetary, and it's by Olga, the lovely Olga. And it was just a case of, can you show me something I can do with it? Now, the obvious thing is you could stamp this and then in black, clear embossing powder, and then just sprinkle your brush overs and spritz it with water. And that would give a great background. And again, that would be very generic. It would do be great for male, female, you know, a great background, teenagers' cards, perfect. But I thought we'd sort of go something a bit more in depth. And as I say, this is what I've come up with. And so really, I'm using it as my background. But as always, you know me, I want to keep that nice white space. So we've got a few depths here, a few layers, but also a few details. I've kept a sort of quite a simple colour palette, tried not to bring in too many colours. So it's mainly the green and the blue, and then we've used that yellow, that pop of yellow. So I'm hoping we're going to do this today and have some fun. Do excuse my voice. Unfortunately, my cough's come back and my throat is just so sore today. So I'll do my best, but sorry if I feel sound a bit croaky. What am I like? So there's my apology. So if I cough or splutter, you've been warned. So I'm going to grab a piece of, now I'm just using a stencil card, but I know this will take water. I tend to use stencil card because I know it's a good general white card. Now this one is a 5x7, but only because I've got quite a few of these cut and I thought it'd be a good size for the stamp. So I'll put that to one side where I can still see it, obviously. Now, the beauty of All and Create stamps, as you know, is they come on acetate. And so to start off with, I literally got my piece of acetate and just had a look. Now, this would actually look lovely that way. You could do it landscape, portrait, and this just gives you a good indication. But for me, I just liked the arrows pointing down. Don't ask me why. And I like things offset. For me, if I put it in the centre, it's got to be bang on dead centre, and I can never guarantee that. So for me, I'm going to put it slightly to the side. And I'm going to start and just stamp it in some black VersaFine Clair. Now, you know me, I've got my craft magazine and my copy of paper. Just always gives me a bit more confidence when I'm stamping. I've got my stamp on my All and Create block. Now, my VersaFine Clair isn't the best, but you know what? We'll go with it. At the end of the day, it's just a background, so don't worry too much. I think we all put too much emphasis on ourselves, don't we? We worry, and if things aren't quite perfect, and we're forever comparing our work to other people's, and I do think it's sad. I think as long as you enjoy what you're doing. So me, I've got a stamp, as you know, sideways. Again, it's just one of those quirks. I have these little quirks and, you know, it is what it is. But I think it's nice because I'm sure you've got your own little quirks. Now, I know we've got quite a few followers in Australia, New Zealand and America. Now, do you have quirks? Is that a word that you use? I do worry. If not, what could I be saying? I mean, quirks here in the UK is when we refer to it how we have little, you know, idiosyncrasies. We have little things that we like to do that maybe not everybody else does. It is funny language, isn't it? How one word can mean something completely different in not even another language, just another almost, I know even colloquialisms in the UK. The word lugs means totally different things depending where you come from in the UK. But that's another story. So, as I always say, hey ho, these things are. Right, remember, all in Create, we've got flexible blocks. There we go. Beautiful image, isn't it? Now, you could even, I do think this would look nice just left in black and white. You could simply add a sentiment here, maybe one little bit of colour, maybe a red. I do think, you know, honestly, you wouldn't need to do, if I just bring in some black, you don't always have to overstate things. So, as I say, that would actually be my first inspiration. Look at that. Sentiment, don't need a lot more. I mean, for a mail card, somebody going off to university, you know, or especially somebody that was into astronomy, I think this would just be perfect. So I'll get rid of that. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to blot it. Give it a bit of a blot. Because VersaFine Clay's not that quick drying and I don't want to smudge my work. Try and get into good habits, but you know me, I don't. I just try. Now, what I'm going to bring in now, I needed a background stencil. And so I've gone for this one. It's number 71 and it's Steam Cogs. And this one's by Olga as well. And I just thought the cogs, because we've almost got some cogs here in the edges, I thought it would just tie in nicely. That's my theory anyway when I went to my box. And I thought I don't use this that much, so it's good to get out a stencil that I haven't used for a while. And I decided going for blue and green. Again, quite almost, you know, masculine-ish colours. And I've gone for peacock feathers and rustic wilderness. And these are in the oxides, but only because it's the oxides that I've got on my desk at the minute. And it's, I nearly said anything for an easy life then. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Sometimes I do just literally reach for what's on my desk. Sometimes I try and actually maybe clear a shelf and then actually find products I haven't used for a while. So all I'm going to do is bring in some stenciling, and I've just got some smoothies here. Again, it could be blending tools, and just decide, have a look where. And what I'm going to do is I just want to go a little area. Now, I love diagonals, so I love my main piece, but I want to go diagonal. That's what's in my mind anyway. So I don't just want this in the background. I want to bring a little bit into my image as well. So I'm going to have that there, and then I want some down here as well. So again, just almost being mindful. And I'm not taping it down. I don't need to. If I want to check how it looks, remember, just lift it up and have a look. Right, need a little bit more there, just to overlap the image. Yeah, that looks great. And then I'm just going to bring in a little bit of blue. And I want some blue in the middle. Just sort of this area here. That's too big. I don't like that one. Well, I don't like it, but I just think it's too big for what I want. I want some smaller images. That's better. I just think the big image there would look too much. Want a little bit more blue there, so I'll just go back over that. It doesn't matter that it's the same. And in fact, I think I'll mirror that and just bring that in there. Right, I like that. Now, don't forget, you've got your ink on here, haven't you? So in good old Abs fashion, let's give it a good spritz and pop it on a spare piece of card. Just give it a bit of a minute. I do find for me these, look at that, these are the best backgrounds. We may just have a little bit more there. Oh yes, and have we got a little bit, I think there's a bit of blue there that we might just get at that end. Yeah, there we go. Now look at that. For me, like I say, I mean, my homework as soon as I've finished recording this is I'll be making myself another piece using that. Because I've got to be honest, I love these backgrounds. They're definitely my favourite. Right, I'll put that to one side. Quick mop up here. Now what I want to do now is just add a few little splats of colour. So before I put my lids on my ink pads, I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on my mat here. And I want my background card as well. If I bring the finished one, if I show you, I always love to tie in my splats with just a few on my background card as well, look. So I might as well do them both at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I've got my background card cut here. So with my fan brush that's just in my water pot here, it's always in my water pot ready. We'll add some blue, again, just going on opposite corners. So bring this one in. Now do remember it's the same opposite corners, won't you? So we'll have some blue. Then let's just have a look. Yes, I think a little bit of green in the middle. Just on this one, I think we'll just bring a little bit of the green in. I don't want much. And if you notice, I'm putting the blue over the green and then the green over the blue. And then what I want to do, I just bring this one in. Oh, I think I'll just put a little spot there. And if it ties in right, when we mat and layer, I think that'll look, yeah. Right, so that I'm going to have to put on one side to dry. And let's mop this up. I do love doing this because it ties it in. It just makes it look like that you paint your card that you're mounting it on. I mean, this card could be a card blank. And again, I would just add the splatters onto my card blank. It just makes it look like you've thought about it more. So while that's drying, and that's our basis for the background. And again, for me, if I bring the black in again, just to show you, you know, again, we've got, if you wanted, you could use this with a sentiment. At each step of the way here, you've got choices. So depending on how much time you have and how you're feeling, this, I think at this level, we could put a sentiment on here. I mean, what would be nice would be maybe restamp this and decoupage that triangle. And again, you would have a lovely card design. And I keep saying for males, but they're really good. And I know certainly myself, I do struggle sometimes for male cards. And I know a lot of the crafters that attend my workshops are always asking for male cards. So I do think this is a lovely background. I'm so pleased I was asked to use this stamp, because quite often we do have stamp sets that we do forget about. Now, the butterfly I'm going to use is this lovely butterfly here. And again, when Ab sent me this stamp, I love butterflies. I just love everything about this. Oh, again, this one's by Olga. It's a bit of the Olga show, isn't it? Sorry, Olga. Well, I don't know why I'm saying sorry. But maybe it's just the way you've drawn them. They actually do all seem to go together. And again, I didn't purposely look for Olga stamps. I just looked for ones that I thought would go together. Must admit, this butterfly was on my desk. We used him in one of our Facebook Lives in the workshop group the other week. Now, what I've done is I've already stamped him out because you don't need to see me stamping. And the other week we used distressed crayons. We had a bit of a workshop on distressed crayons. And there's something that certainly I've got and haven't used very much. And quite a few of the ladies felt the same. So I'm just going to grab a little drink of water. So what I'm going to do is and these are great for quickly adding colour. So what you've got is you've got your distressed crayon, you've got one end and the other end you operate it like a lipstick. And all we're going to do is add some quick colour. These are great for backgrounds. Oh, there's so many things you can do these. The beauty of it is you can leave the lids off and all the lids are colour coordinated. They're not something that's going to dry up that you've got to worry about. But I am a bit funny me. I don't like leaving the lids off. It messes with my head. Now, you can actually put the colour on your mat, should you wish, and pick it up to watercolour. I'm just literally scribbling it straight on my card. As I say, lots of ways you can use these. They're great for backgrounds. They're water reactive, but only as long as you react them. So I'm just going to mix a bit of the blue there, bit of the blue there. And then I'm going to go in with the darker blue. So again, I'm just moving it round. And then just back in my water pot, just clean my brush, because I'll then go in with my green. And for me, I just wanted to add some quick colour. And I thought, how can I do that for a change? I would usually just go for my oxides. And I thought, no, let's just, use something a bit different. And I've got a whole tin of these. So bit like Billy Brayer. He started coming out of his box more to play now. And so I think these distress crayons will as well. I think it's about using, and that's a good thing, you know, if your mojo has gone, why not have a bit of a tidy up in your craft room, because that's always good, or your craft corner, your craft cupboard, and maybe look for a product that you haven't used for a while. Now I'm going to come in with a darker one, and I'm going to go back just to add myself a bit of shade there. See, I'm going to put the lid on. I have to put the lids on, isn't it funny? Again, that's just another one of my little quirks. Now, this is, as I say, stencil card, so it will take, if it starts pilling, it's because you haven't got a low enough chalk content, but don't worry. So I'm happy with that. You can mix the colours. As I say, you can put some colour on your mat like that, and then come in, pick it up as watercolour. I mean, that for backgrounds. And if you do wet on wet, look at that. If this was a full piece, we could do that all over the background. Beautiful. Put a bit more on there. Now, once these are dry, as I say, they are dry. So much so you can put embossing powder on if you stamp, and it won't stick to the area that hasn't got the Versamark on. So they're just a lovely, lovely product. So, as I say, great for quick colouring. So that's my distress crayons. We're definitely going to be using them more. Now, to save time and in good old Blue Peter fashion, I've cut my butterfly outlook, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some clear embossing powder on there. So I'm going to get myself my Versamark, just a sticky ink pad, any of your ink pads. Take the lid off, and this is just a clear. And I'm just going to press one wing in. Now at this point I'm dying to say I'm winging it. Oh, that is so sad. That's like one of those jokes out of the Christmas crackers, isn't it? Mind you, we've probably all missed our Christmas crackers this year. Don't really seem like we've had Christmas, does it? Anyway. Right, let's get some clear embossing powder on there. Might as well put the whole jar on. Lift him up. And the reason I'm using this, I do like using glossy accents, but obviously your glossy accents, it takes time to dry. So I wanted more of an instant glaze, so that's why we're going for the clear embossing powder. Flick it, check it's all back in there. Check the lids on, because we don't want any of that mishap, do we? So, sorry, but the heat tool's going to come on. Make sure it's heated up first. You don't want to go in with it when it's not warm. And again, just start at one side as it melts, look. And I'm holding this down just with a bradawl. Check I've got them every little bit. Yep. And again, just hold it up. Now, I didn't do the middle because I didn't want that. I just wanted the actual wings. And look at that. And that's what I was saying about my colouring. It's not one of these where I wanted perfect colouring. I didn't want to spend ages with my pencils because I just wanted that effect of colour and then the glaze. I'm going to put that to one side. I'm happy with that. And next, I'm going to use another stamp. And what I'm going to do is here, if we look at the finished piece, it's this little floral here. And again, this one comes from, and I'm sure this is another Olga set. Oh no, this is Bipasha. So we have mixed it up a bit. So this is Bipasha, this one. And I'm just taking this. I just wanted some floral, but not too much. I mean, these are beautiful. I love the long bouquets. But I just wanted the smaller one. And again, what I've done is I've stamped it out already and cut it out just because you don't want to see me cutting out. And for this, I want to add a little bit of colour, but I don't want it too strong. So I'm not going to use my distress crayons this time because I want it paler. I want it to almost be a different tone. to what my my butterfly is, because he's really my main image. I want this to almost go a little bit more into the background. I want this to almost have 3 layers. What I was thinking of was creating, that's my background layer. Nearly put that in the ink then. And then this is my next layer, and then my butterfly is the focal point. That's what I'm sort of intending anyway, but that's just the way my head works. That's the way, if I can explain to you how I'm thinking, it might be good that you understand that, it might not, I don't know. Now I want this quite pale, so I'm going to mix quite a bit of water, because obviously, as you know, the more water you add to your ink, the paler the colour. And we're almost just going to do, it's a bit like a wash when we do our watercolour classes. So this is like the wash. I'm not doing wet on wet because it's moving quite nicely. We don't need to do that. And look at that. Just this nice pale wash. And this one's going to be the blue. You can always add a bit more water. And then this flower here. And again, you don't have to be too precise. We want this to look sort of like, you know, nice and watercolour-like, which is perfect because you don't have to go up to the edges. You know, when we were taught at school about, oh, you must go to the edges, you must get all, not with this one. We're just going for that effect. I'm happy with that. So clean my brush, wipe it on my inky binky, and then let's pick up some green. And again, I want it quite watery. So we've got this bud here. Little bud there. Now, normally, I've got to be honest, I would paint this before I cut it out so that if I go over the edges, it doesn't matter. But it was just easier for our little tutorial today if I cut it out, because like I say, you don't want to see me cutting out. Although I do like cutting out, I've got to be honest, I find it very, very sort of therapeutic. I'm a big fan of cutting out. So add a bit of colour there, and that's enough. I don't want too much colour because, as I say, I don't want it. I really want my butterfly look to pop, to be deeper in tone and stand out more. So we'll put that to one side, then we'll just mop this up. Now, the next thing is to stamp our coffee stirrer. Now, I was very lucky. I got a present the other day. 2 of our lovely ladies, Janet and Susan, sent me these gorgeous coffee stirrers. They know I love stamping on coffee stirrers. And I just thought this is perfect. And one of the stamps in this stamp set actually says, take joy from life. And it's from the first one we used here, look. Take joy from life. And also this lovely one at the bottom, which it's covered up in the bag here. And that one says, let me just get it, still on here. And that one says, make it happen. Now, I do think at the minute that's quite apt, isn't it? Because I think at the minute we all just feel a bit sort of bleh, and a bit fed up, and we're stuck in, and you're either stuck in, or if you're working, my goodness, you're working your little socks off. So either way, it's not good for anybody. And sometimes I think we all need a bit of luck, a bit of happiness, and let's just make that happen. So I quite liked that, but I did go for the take joy from life. And again, I thought that was important. And when I had a look, I thought, look at that. It just about fits. Doesn't matter if we leave a little bit of the loops, but I liked the way, I thought if I can get life in my main bit there, I want to focus on the word life. Sorry, excuse me. So that was, again, my theory. Now, I should have had one of these stamped already, shouldn't I? Because you know what it's like. These things, when you do them live, be interesting. But we'll see if we can get it. So just versifying Claire again. Nice light tapping with the ink. Right, now this is where I may have to put my head over, so I'm sorry if you're not completely in focus or in shot. I do apologise. I'm trying not to move it. We just need to go down and up. Whew, that'll do, won't it? We'll settle for that. I'm happy with that. And then what I want to do is just get my fine liner. And I want to make life in a little square. So again, and don't be frightened of doing this. Just draw. And then what you're better doing is drawing 3 or 4 times and almost having a random edge, because then you're not too worried about it being straight, about it being perfect. It's almost nice that it's imperfect. You almost want it to look drawn and not perfect. And we just want to put it in that nice little box, look. And we'll give that a minute to dry, and then we'll add some colour to make it all blend in. Excuse me. So if we go back to our design so far, we've got our background there, and we just want a few little finishing tricks to this. And one of the things we want to add is some washi tape. Now, I do love the washi tape. And again, a little tip, I always write the number and the name of which roll it is inside, so that if I need to reorder it, I know. And this one's number 6, and it's called Crafty. And I'm just going to go for the next word, and that's embrace. And that will be fine for me. And I'm just going to put this up here. So I'm just going to tear around, just to give it a bit more of a sort of rustic feel. It's quite funny because all the little bits always get stuck to your fingers. And you know what, I've got to be honest, I find it quite difficult tearing this bit, so I'm just going to cut it and just put a bit of a zigzag cut. And you know what, nobody will notice, because you won't tell them and I won't tell them, and I've got a bit stuck to my thumb. Come off. Right, will you just go in the bin? So I want this one up here. Little tip, pop it on your scissors like that, look, and it's easier to... Now let's have a look. Yeah, I think we'll put that over there. So I like that. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of colour to my background, and I want to bring in a couple of pops of yellow. So again, I'm just going to twist my crayon, and I'm going to go for this cog here. And let's go for this diamond here. And this one here, now this one might be covered up, I'm not sure, but if not, and let's find, got a nice fine paintbrush, just to catch that there, catch this one here, let's just blend that a little. I don't want it right to the edges, I just want that pop of colour. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to add, if you look at the finished one, we've got these lovely circles of yellow, which again really help. If I bring it a bit closer, can you see? And so for that, really, really easy. Grab yourself a yellow Posca. I think by now we've all got Poscas in just about every colour, haven't we? So give it a good shake. I must admit, the grandchildren, the boys, they love the Poscas. I have to make sure the lids are on, obviously, otherwise we would have splats everywhere. But they just love the fact they shake. They like to have one in each hand. And then all we're going to do is use the lid from my water pot, and let's just make ourselves some of these nice little, I think we'll have a couple there. There's one. I mean, you could use paint for this. I think we've all done it with gesso, haven't we, and white paint. But it's nice. I just wanted to go for the colour, almost an accent colour, just to make it pop. And my Poscas are in my tin, my one I've covered on my desk, so it seemed ideal to use these. And I think we want some here, don't we? We want 3 lots of these. So, and this is nice because this is going over the stenciling. I think just one more, and that I don't want it to be a full one. If you don't want a full one, again, don't just put the pen on all of it. And then I'm just going to turn it round because for me it's easy to just work with what's right in front of me instead of stretching over. So I just want some in this corner. We'll go over the washi. I think I might leave that just as it is. Yeah, I'm liking that. Although it does look like, and I know we're saying 3s, and I know we're just doing 3, but to me there's a space there. So I just want that little bit, that pop. It's not even a full circle, but to me it needed that. Just to balance it, it was unbalanced. So although we go for the rule of 3, odd numbers, you've got to keep the balance. Right, so when we come to lining it all up, we're going to put this on. Now, to make it blend in. And again, I do like things to look like they all should be here. They're not just something we've picked up and stuck on. There's nothing worse, none of this pizza, that you've decided you want an artichoke at the end or an extra piece of ham and it looks like you've just gone and got this extra piece and stuck it on. So I'm just going to add some of the blue and we're just going to go around the edge. And you see how that just looks so much better now. I'm just going to put it on my black and then that'll give you a better idea of how we're building up. And in fact, if I put it on here as well, you'll get an even better idea look. So you can see, now again for me, I'm just going to place it for now because obviously, like I say, you don't want to watch me actually taping things down. But when I'm making my designs, I would actually glue these now. And then I put my embellishments on last because I find it easy. There's nothing worse than putting all your embellishments on here and then turning this piece of card over and squashing everything when you try and put your tape on the back. So, but as I say, you don't need to see me gluing. So I'm thinking that's going to go there. And then this flower, what's nice about this is you can decide where this goes. But what looks quite nice, look, is if you pop that under there, we hide almost, you see the stem where it finishes, so it looks like the flower's actually growing out of there. That's really nice, I'm happy with that. So I'll actually quickly stick those down so you can just see this little bit. Now, quite a lot of the All in Crate sentiments, I've checked, they are quite small, excuse me, and they do go on these coffee stirrers so well. So I'm just using pin flare so that I can just move this if I want. And again, I'm just going to add. And the beauty of pin flare is you've got the movement. So again, this one, I can pop this under there, look, and we'll go for that. So that's looking, how are we doing? Are we in shot? Can you see? Now, I just want something here almost to bring a little bit of blue. And then this is a perfect, sorry, excuse me, perfect washi tape for this. And this one's called Ponder, and this is number 3, #3. And what's lovely about this is we've got these numbers, but they're in blue and also some in black. And I'm just thinking that lovely big blue, number 6 or number 9. Now again, the bits I tear off, I literally keep on the side of my mat. Because you never know when. You see that little bit? You could literally put that bit in the corner there, look. Smooth it down. But I'm thinking this number 6, and if I just tuck it a little bit under there, because we want things to almost join, they've got to have a reason for being there. And then I just want another, it is funny the little pieces we keep, isn't it? But I just want another little number to go at the bottom, just almost to hide that harsh edge there. I think that looks better. So I like that. And then we've got our main man, the butterfly, and he's going to go there. So let's put just some pin flare on the back of his wings. Now again, you could pop him flat if you wanted. Again, with your pin flare, always remember to turn it up with your key. We don't want it going off. If the air gets in, you'll be really upset. So we're going to put him about there. We will still want to be able to read this, so that's fine. But we want him in conjunction. We don't want any, you know, in a big space. We don't want him right up here off the edge. That wouldn't look right. Now, obviously, I haven't stuck that down, so that's not perfectly square. But you can forgive me for that, can't you? You get the idea. Now, last little thing, just to finish off, and in my little tin here, my rusting tin, I've got safety pin, and I'm thinking that's perfect for his body. I do like to put a safety pin just on his body there. Although I have got a pen nib, that looks nice. But quite often, I've seen quite a few other people using pen nibs, so sometimes it's nice to use something a bit different. I mean, this lovely little, I don't know what it is. Is it off a clock hand? That would look nice, but I almost think it's a wee bit big. If I had a smaller one, possibly. So let's see what else I've got. I could do with another little, on my original one, I had a nice cog. But I haven't got any more rusty cogs, so it doesn't matter. I've just got a little circle there, a rusty circle. That can go there, that's fine. Just to follow that. And then I'll put another just over there. And we don't want any more because that would just be too much. It would just complicate it too much, and we want to keep it nice and simple. These I'm just going to glue on with glossy accents. But the last little thing, and again, you'll be glad I've kept this nice and short today. So last little thing I'm going to do is shape my Posca again. Now, we're all used to doing the white Posca splatters. And again, I just thought, let's bring that yellow in and let's do something a bit different. So let's just have some flicks with the yellow, just a couple on the butterfly, not too many, and a couple up here. And again, it's as though it's a whip in fashion. There we go. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to overcook it, do we? And that's our piece for today. So I hope that's given you some inspiration. I hope you've enjoyed joining me, and I hope you use, if you've got the stamp set, so that was 204, if you've got it, I'd love you to use it. I'd love to see what you do. If you put it in our group, in our Fanatics group, do tag me in and let me see what you've done. Like I say, I hope you take inspiration from this, and I hope it gets your craft in. If Mr. Mojo's gone on holiday, he jolly well needs to come back, doesn't he? So have a bit of fun, create yourself some backgrounds. And I'm going to be off now, and I'm going to make something with this, our free little background we made. I'm thinking another butterfly on there, you know, maybe another coffee stirrer. Yeah, that's definitely given me food for thought. Maybe a little coffee first and a cheeky biscuit. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. As always, it is a pleasure. I love to read your comments. And you take care, everybody. Love and hugs. And as always, the phrase of the minute, bye for now.